What's up, everybody? On a podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about some of the reviews, some of the early talks on Scream 2022. Obviously, the reviews dropped this morning. People have put out videos. A Critical Overlord, right? One of our fellow Scream content creators, he did a video review. People like Jeremy John, who I respect actually quite a bit, he did one. There's a lot of them out there. There's, actual publications. I heard Entertainment Weekly literally spoils it, so don't, for the love of God, I don't know why you would read that anyway, but don't read Entertainment Weekly because they spoil the movie. So you have a lot of people saying a lot of things. You have a Rotten Tomatoes score as well. Now I want to have like a blanket statement in the beginning here, and it's going to kind of be the same thing I said in the early impressions video, and I have to remain true to my belief as a person and what I've said for years on this channel, even though now things are going well for a film I like. I don't care about critic reviews, okay? I just don't. I don't make my buying decision for games, or I don't make my watching decision of movies based off of the Rotten Tomatoes score, based off of this, if this person says it or this person does, or, Entertainment Weekly or the IGNs of the world. I'm not, that's not going to do anything for me. So I just want to make that clear. You can respect these people. You cannot respect them. You can listen. You cannot listen. Whatever. And I like Critical Overlord. I mean, he's like, I talked to him personally. So, I trust him. But there's a lot of people I just don't care about, and so don't let these reviews like ruin your life or ruin your your viewing pleasure of Scream, right? Don't let that happen if you don't want it to happen. And I will say, for the Rotten Tomatoes score, it's gone down. It was as high as, I believe, a 93. Now it's an 87 based off, I think, 50 reviews off the time that I was looking at it. But again, I mean, that's really good. Yeah, that's really, really good. But you look at the other movies, I think Scream 1 had a 79. So, like, the Rotten Tomatoes, people sometimes know how they do it. Sometimes they don't. But, I mean, the easiest way to say it is don't go based off of Rotten Tomatoes ever, right? Because, you have that. Scream 4 is a 61. I think Scream 3 was like a 40, 41. So, I mean, these movies are all over the place. But right now, this would be the highest rated Scream movie of all time, which I don't think any of the reviews are saying that it's better than 1, okay? Now, what we got from the reviews, I think, is just a lot of echoing and a little bit more, explanation, or a little bit more in depth of what we got in those early impressions. Ghostface seems to be like a highlight, not, who it is or what the motive necessarily even is, but Ghostface, themselves, himself, herself, because nobody's actually saying, which I respect. Ghostface is a really good pillar of this movie. The kills are something that we saw at the early impressions, people on Twitter. It's also something that we've seen now. The kills are like outrageous. they're crazy. They're like bold. All of that. They're fearless. Any of those kind of things that you want to say. I've heard pretty conflicting things in terms of characters, right? Now, there's obviously the standouts, and I think the standouts are kind of unanimous, right? Like, Jenna Ortega seems to have been a standout that a lot of people have mentioned in this movie. Same thing with Mindy, right? Tara and Mindy seem to be the two standouts. Now, I said in that early impressions that is a little worrying because Sam is the main person, or at least she's supposed to be. So, like, I don't love that I'm not hearing people say she's the standout, because you would hope for that. I have heard people say she's good, but just not that she's the best. Again, though, not to contradict what I said in the beginning, I'm obviously not the same as all of these people. I could very easily have a different opinion to them. But those are still, from what I've gathered, Ghostface is a standout in terms of what the Ghostface killer does and how they do it and all that stuff. And then these two characters of Mindy and Tara are very, very good. Again, Sam seems to be definitely solid. The OG, that continues to be echoed, that the OG is just like kind of flawless. You know what I mean? They're perfect. Now, there's a little, I would say, debate of when they're brought in. I know Jeremy Johns, personally, he felt that it felt a little weird, specifically with Sydney, that she wasn't in. Now, and everybody's going to have a different opinion, right? How do you handle a character like Sydney for a movie like this? I'll tell you when I see it, right? If I feel like they handled it right or wrong, but he didn't necessarily like it, but a lot of other people did like it. So there's back and forth. Again, a lot of echoing. The commentary, right? The meta commentary. People back in the early impressions time had some conflict. Some people really liked it. Some people thought it was pretty heavy-handed, or it didn't like always work, or they kind of went like overkill on it. I saw the same thing with reviews. Some people thought that it was kind of not well done. Some people thought that it was well done. I've always, and I've said this before, like I've been worried about that. And I watched Critical Overlord's review specifically, and he had said that the meta commentary of like toxic fandoms and stuff is not one fandom. They don't make it like heavy on that. So I hope he's right. I hope I don't see it any differently than that, because again, we talked about it with like Star Wars, and I guess in general, though, it doesn't even matter about Star Wars. I actually have always just been afraid ever since I heard the idea of toxic fandoms that they'll take the cheap cop-out route where anybody who disagrees that a movie in a franchise is, and everybody says it's good and then you say it's bad, that makes you toxic, because that's what happened with The Last Jedi. That's what happened with actually so many movies over the last, 5 to 10 years. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever, seen happen on the internet in my entire life. Yes, there are toxic people. I'm not saying there's not, and I don't want to get in too much of a debate. But again, my point is, I just want them to think about it a little, like a little critically, that it's not only people that disagree, those are the toxic people. So whether that's Star Wars or whether that's other fandoms, I hope they handle it. And from what I've seen, it seems like most people say they handled it right, or they don't make it a point to like insult, fans or non-fans of a certain franchise. So I think we should be good there. But everything seems kind of good. There's still nobody that's saying it's better than one, which, fair. I don't think anybody necessarily expected that. You know what I mean? I like what I've heard. I'm excited for it. Nothing that I've heard, like the toxic fandom stuff, like I guess I'm thinking of, like the Sydney stuff, like how they use her. But a lot of this stuff is what I've always been like, I'm going to go into this movie hoping for things, expecting to see things, wanting things, not wanting things. Like, that's just a normal person, you know what I mean? Unless you go in a movie with a blank slate, which is totally cool. That's what a lot of people go into movies thinking or I guess wanting or trying to experience, right? So nothing that I have seen, I would say, has deterred me. Again, I don't go based off of, this movie could have got a 30 on Rotten Tomatoes and I would still see it, or it could have got 100 and I would have still, and I actually would not have cared which score it got, because I don't care what these people have to say. And people like Critical Overlord, who I do care, he does not make it, into Rotten Tomatoes. He doesn't affect the score there. I don't even think Jeremy Jahns half the time does either. So that's the situation. Seems like everybody still says it's good. There's very few that have said like it's bad, like don't go see it. At the least, or at the worst, it seems like, yeah, it's a good time. Like you'll have fun, but don't expect anything like, life-changing, or don't even maybe expect anything that really, I don't know, makes Scream like it's the greatest thing of all time in this movie, like Rivals 1, or like, stuff like that. It's not that, from what a lot of people, I guess, have said. But that's, again, that's subjective. So we will see what we all think of it when we see it. I don't know about you guys. You can let me know in the comments when you plan on seeing it. I will be seeing it tomorrow at 7 o'clock p.m. my time. I'll let you guys know what I think on Twitter. I'll make videos on it. I'll make it very clear what's going to happen in those videos as they come out. So hopefully there will be nothing, spoiled or anything like that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. All my social media, if you want to follow me anywhere else, is in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.